Peter, thank you very much for joining Energy Live News. There are many reports out there that claim that you have become the first person in England to supply local homes with green energy from your own wind turbine. When did it all start and how do you feel about that?
Well, yes, it was. It was a scheme that was set up not that long ago. Unfortunately, of course, with COVID being around, it made it a little bit more difficult, particularly as the recipients needed to have smart meters fitted. I actually started generating power back in 2012. So it's been quite a few years that I've been supplying directly to the grid. It wasn't necessarily my intention just to do that. I wanted to supply a local business part, but it just became impractical and almost impossible to do. So I was rather pleased when this scheme came up and I was able to participate in it.
Is it true that the wind turbine provides 17 households with electricity?
Well, that's correct. Yes, it does. And I think they're hoping to get more on board so that I can supply more people. But of course, it depends on when the wind blows. And people have to be aware that if I'm not generating, then obviously they can't be using. But by and large, throughout the whole year, as an average, I can supply more than that. And not a lot more, but I can supply more.
We know that there are so many households in the waiting list. Is it true?
That's right, there are. The initial stage was to get the whole scheme up and running with a few pioneers, if you like, to set the system going. And now the system is working. They can now introduce more people. And the idea of this local energy is to, as we say, it started with the wind turbine, and they're hoping to build on this by putting more photovoltaic cells up nearby. And that will add to the power supplied by renewable energy, and therefore there'll be even more people that will be able to receive this energy.
How about the energy savings that this scheme offered to the households? It is believed that the savings for each home is about £60 a year. Is it true?
Yes, the whole idea of the scheme really is that I gain a bit and they gain a bit. And I think it depends, of course, on how much they get to use, but yes, there will be significant savings all the way around. So it means that it's just not going through the national grid. It's distributed through the local substation that I feed and they feed from.
We know that each home is fitted with a smart meter, which calculates when the turbine is putting out energy. Is this correct? I mean, how does this work?
Well, it operates, I'm not sure of the full details on this, but Octopus Energy are monitoring, of course, what I'm generating, and they know, therefore, when the consumers are wanting electricity, and therefore can match the two. This is quite early days with all this, so there are a few sort of glitches, but as far as I know, it's working quite well.
I know that you have built this wind turbine 10 years ago, but it was just last year that you were invited to join the cooperative scheme. How much money did you invest in the first place for building this turbine?
Well, it was quite an expensive project. The whole concept, I reviewed it in terms of how much money I had sat in my house, which was doing nothing, and therefore I took out a loan against the house, if you like, to install it, because it's quite a few £100,000 to install this machine, and also the infrastructure to get the power away as well. So there was an element of cost involved with that. It was a little bit of a guess, if you like, because the year before I built the turbine, I had an anemometer registering the wind speed. The key figure is 5 meters a second, and I was only just about on that as an average. So I went for it anyway, and fortunately it's worked out. But it's the only one in Dorset of this size.
In terms of the earnings that you have from the wind turbine, how much money do you earn by selling the output of the wind turbine? Because I have read that it is something like 50% more money that you would have taken if you sold this energy to a utility provider.
Well, that's right. I mean, as I say, it's very early days, so not all of my power is going to the consumers through this scheme. But as time goes by, hopefully that will increase greatly, and therefore that will be true. I will be getting more for it. But at the moment, it's still early days.
Peter, thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.